The hidden risks, side effects, and rebound weight gain. These drugs were created for diabetes, but today, millions of people are using them for weight loss. Ozempic, Mounjaro, names that went from doctors' offices to social media, from medical journals to global headlines. But behind the hype, there is a darker side. Nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea, loss of appetite, fatigue, rebound weight gain, and a growing fear that the body may be paying a hidden price for rapid results. So the real question is not just how much weight can you lose. The real question is, what is your body giving up to get there?
Opening tension. If you want to understand Ozempic and Mounjaro, you have to start with a bigger truth. This is not just a weight loss story. This is a story about diabetes, insulin resistance, metabolic dysfunction, appetite control, and the body's struggle to regulate energy. Ozempic is based on semaglutide. Mounjaro is based on tirzepatide. Both were developed as diabetes medications, especially for type 2 diabetes. But in a world obsessed with fast transformation, they quickly became something else, a global weight loss phenomenon. And that is exactly where the controversy begins. Because when a diabetes drug becomes a lifestyle trend, people stop asking the most important questions. Is it safe? Who is it really for? What happens when you stop? And what is the long-term cost of chasing short-term results?
Why these drugs became so popular? To understand the rise of these medications, you need to understand the biology behind obesity and type 2 diabetes. For many people, especially after 40, the problem is not simply overeating. The deeper issue is metabolic dysfunction. Insulin resistance develops. Cells stop responding properly to insulin. Blood sugar becomes harder to control. Energy levels crash after meals. Cravings increase. Fat storage rises, especially around the abdomen. And over time, the system becomes more and more unstable. That is why these medications got so much attention. They act on pathways involved in appetite, satiety, and blood sugar regulation. For some patients with type 2 diabetes, that can be clinically useful. For many others, it created a powerful new dream, a way to lose weight without constantly fighting hunger. But every powerful effect comes with a question. What is the trade-off? The most common side effects? The gut pays first. The first and most common place people feel these drugs is the digestive system. According to official labeling, side effects can include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, and abdominal pain. And for some people, these are not mild symptoms. They can be intense enough to affect daily life, eating habits, hydration, and even work. That is important because a lot of people see the weight loss, but they do not see the struggle behind it. They do not see the person who can barely tolerate food. They do not see the fatigue. They do not see the discomfort. They only see the result. Ozempic's label also notes severe gastrointestinal adverse reactions, and it is not recommended in patients with severe gastroparesis. Mounjaro also carries warnings about severe gastrointestinal adverse reactions and is not recommended in severe gastroparesis. That matters because if your stomach is already slow, sensitive, or prone to digestive issues, these drugs may make the experience much harder. This is not a casual intervention. This is a strong medical therapy that changes how your body processes food and appetite. Rebound weight gain, the fear nobody likes to talk about. One of the biggest fears around these medications is something that gets far less attention than the before and after photos. What happens when you stop? For many people, the answer is the weight can come back the moment I stop. And sometimes it comes back fast. That is because the body is not stupid. If appetite was suppressed for a long time and the underlying habits, nutrition, sleep, stress, and activity patterns were never truly rebuilt, the system often tries to return to its previous state. That is biology. Not failure, not weakness, biology. And that is why rebound weight gain is such a serious issue. Because the drug may lower appetite, but it does not automatically fix the deeper causes of metabolic dysfunction. If the root causes remain, the problem is still there underneath the surface. For a lot of people, this is the most frustrating part of the story. They do everything right, they lose weight, and then the fear begins. Am I going to need this forever? Will my weight come back the moment I stop?
Muscle loss, the hidden cost. Here is another issue that should be taken seriously. Weight loss is not always pure fat loss. Some of it can be lean mass, including muscle. That matters a lot, especially after 40. Because as we age, preserving muscle becomes more and more important for metabolism, strength, mobility, glucose control, and long-term health. If a medication suppresses appetite so strongly that someone eats too little protein, underfuels their body, or loses weight too quickly without resistance training, muscle loss becomes a real concern. This is one reason why doctors and nutrition experts keep repeating the same message. If you use these medications, you still need proper nutrition, enough protein, hydration, and ideally, strength training. Because a lower number on the scale is not always the same thing as a healthier body. If you lose weight but also lose strength, energy, and metabolic resilience, you may not be getting the full benefit you think you are. And for a global audience, that message is universal. True health is not just about being smaller. It is about being stronger, steadier, and metabolically more stable. What the FDA warnings tell us. This is where the official medical side becomes very important. According to FDA labeling, both Ozempic and Mounjaro carry a boxed warning for the risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. They are contraindicated in patients with a personal or family history of medullary thyroid carcinoma, or MEN2. That alone tells you something essential. These are not trivial medications. They are powerful therapies with real warnings attached. Mounjaro's label also includes warnings for acute pancreatitis, acute kidney injury due to volume depletion, severe gastrointestinal adverse reactions, acute gallbladder disease, and it is not recommended in patients with severe gastroparesis. Ozempic's label includes severe gastrointestinal adverse reactions as well. So what does that mean in plain English? It means these medications can be very effective, but they are not free solutions. The body may respond with side effects that affect the stomach, hydration, gallbladder, kidney function, or overall tolerance. That is why these drugs should never be treated like a casual trend or a social media shortcut. They are medical tools, powerful ones, and powerful tools demand respect. The emotional question. Do I have to give up food pleasure? For many people over 40, this is the real emotional battle. Do I have to give up enjoying food just to control my weight and blood sugar? That question is huge because food is not just fuel. Food is comfort, culture, routine, celebration, memory. If a medication makes food feel unpleasant all the time or makes every meal a struggle, then the issue is no longer just medical. It becomes a quality of life issue. And for younger people, the fear is different. They may not be thinking about diabetes yet. They may be thinking about aesthetics, body image, social pressure, and online trends. But even there, the question remains the same. Am I actually becoming healthier or just smaller? That is the central tension behind the entire Ozempic and Mounjaro conversation. The world celebrates the result, but not everyone talks about the cost. Who may benefit from these medications? To stay fair and scientific, we have to say this clearly. These medications are not inherently bad.
For some people with type 2 diabetes, they can be useful and even life-changing when used properly under medical supervision. They may help with blood sugar control. They may reduce appetite. They may support weight loss in certain patients. But the key word is supervision. That is the difference between treatment and trend, between medical use and social media use, between evidence-based care and impulsive experimentation. A person with diabetes, prediabetes, insulin resistance, or obesity-related metabolic risk may indeed be a candidate for a medication like this, but only after proper evaluation of medical history, digestive health, kidney function, risk factors, and other medications. So the message is not fear, and it is not blind promotion either. The message is balance. These are tools, not miracles. The bigger metabolic message. If you are over 40, this conversation may actually be about more than Ozempic or Mounjaro. It may be about your metabolic future. Are your blood sugar levels creeping up? Is your waistline expanding? Do you feel tired after meals? Do cravings control you? Do you wake up already exhausted? Do you feel like your body is slowly changing in ways you cannot ignore? And if you are younger, this may be a warning. Do not confuse trend with health. A body that looks thinner but is metabolically unstable, muscle depleted, and dependent on a drug to manage appetite may not be the success story it appears to be. True metabolic health means stable blood sugar, balanced insulin, preserved muscle, steady energy, healthy digestion, and sustainable habits. Anything that disrupts that balance deserves careful thought, even if the scale likes it. So here is the honest conclusion. Ozempic and Mounjaro are important medications that came out of diabetes care. But in the modern world, they have become something much bigger. A symbol of the battle between fast weight loss and real metabolic health. They are not magic. They are not the enemy. But they are also not harmless shortcuts. They can come with gastrointestinal side effects, appetite suppression, muscle loss concerns, rebound weight gain, and serious medical warnings that should never be ignored. If you want to lose weight and protect your health, the goal should not be just to get smaller. The goal should be to get healthier, stronger, more metabolically stable, more in control of your body, not less. And if you want, in the next video, I can go even deeper into the early signs that your body is already moving toward hidden diabetes or insulin resistance, because that is where the real story begins. If this video helped you, subscribe to DiaSync, because here we break down diabetes, blood sugar, prediabetes, and metabolic health in a way that is clear, scientific, and real. And if you want, leave a comment below. Do you think these drugs are a breakthrough or a dangerous shortcut?